Okay, you guys are live. Are you able to?
You guys are live. Are you able to hear?
Yeah, we can hear you. So let's go
Yeah,
now.
we can hear you. So let's go now.
All right, let me get.
All right, let me get.
Remove myself, right?
Remove my.
All right, cool.
Welcome to the Global Business Talk Show. My name is Janet Zephyr. I'm always happy to be here with you. And today we have a very special guest. We have Paola Isaac B-A-R-A-Y-A. Hello, Miss Paola. How are you?
Miss Paola. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me on your show. It's always a pleasure.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Baraya.
Baraya. It's so
Isaac
easy.
Baraya.
It's so easy.
Or you can say Paola Isaac if it's easier. No worries at all.
Perfect. Paola, we've known each
Paola,
other for a long
we've known
time,
each other
and
for a
you're
long time, and
economic
you're
development
economic
specialist,
development specialist,
international trade for the Broward County Office of Economic and Small Business Development. And part of your job is to educate Broward businesses on exporting and developing international trade policies and strategies to further the county position. And when I say the county position is so that Broward County could be on top. What number are we in when it comes to trade? Because we're going to talk about your jobs and what you've been doing for the county. What number are we in? Are we the 6th largest or the 5th largest?
Well, let's just say if Florida was its own economy in the world, it would be the 18th largest. But also, if you look at the map of all the Americas, from Canada all the way to South America, we're really in the middle geographically. So that's why we feel and we're working very hard to position ourselves as a global hub for the Americas and also for the world.
As a county employee, everybody knows you whenever they're talking about export readiness because you lead those seminars. The 11 steps of exporting, it doesn't matter how many times I took or I attend these workshops, I'm always delighted and excited to attend it again. There's a roadmap to exporting success, doing business with the world, Florida, export opportunities in the international market. So, Paola, where do you find time to juggle all this and be so good at what you do?
Thank you. Well, definitely it's a passion, and we created these education programs to educate the community because sometimes exporting can be intimidating or daunting. Like not many people know, but only less than 1% of businesses in the U.S. export. So we really wanted to demystify the exporting process. That's why we created the 11 steps to exporting. And actually, in 2019, we received the prize from the President of the United States. It's called the President's E Award. It was founded by President Kennedy, and usually it's directly the president who gives us the prize. But that year was Secretary of Commerce Wilbur Ross, and we went to Washington D.C. because we educated over 3,500 businesses with the 11 Steps to Exporting program, and I offer it as a seminar, webinar, but also as one-on-one consulting. So if there's companies that are based in Broward, but also from other parts of South Florida, we can direct them in the right agency. But if they're in Broward specifically, we could do a one-on-one consulting based on the 11 steps to exporting. So it's been a great program for us and had an impact on helping businesses export.
Paola, I love your humility when you say we. You're talking about the county in general. And since you are part of the county, I'm assuming that's the reason why you say we. But I know how hard you and your team have been working on making sure that we have not only access to the information, you're able, like you say, to coach one-on-one. But today, more specifically, we're gonna talk about FITCE. And before we jump into FITCE, I must also say that your role involved organizing international trade mission and strengthen worldwide partnership. Now I gotta tell everybody, recently Paola made a trip to the Middle East and she forgot me. Although we had planned it many
You're gonna have
years.
another one, so you can.
You said you were gonna have another one. Okay, so I'll definitely will be on a plane for the next one, considering that COVID slows us all down. And last year we did not have the opportunity to have FITCE, and having FITCE virtually would not be the same thing, because FITCE is gonna be what, 6 years now.
6 years now.
6 years, yes.
And I remember many years before the 6 years, we had the International Trade and Business Expo. But Commissioner Holness, mayor for the fiscal year 2020, had broadened it. And not only but the business aspect, but something that is always dear to his heart, the cultural part. So the cultural component of FITCE, to me, is what makes it unique. So tell us a little about FITCE, because you've been there since inception and how you've seen it grow.
Definitely. And so the Florida International Trade and Cultural Expo, as you're right, started 6 years ago. It was an idea from Commissioner Del Visiones, who definitely wanted to broaden the horizons for business, not only on the business side, but on the cultural side, as you mentioned. And every year we try to put some elements of culture, just to go into the cultural part first, and then I'll jump into the business part. We have a cultural visual art exhibit with some local and international artists, and we partner with the cultural division, who sends out a call to artists, and there's a deadline so all the artists can apply. And we've selected the art. There's been a committee who selected the artists that will be displaying at the show this year, and they're also featured in our program guide, some of the artists. So it's beautiful to see art integrated, not only from local artists, but also some international artists. I know in the past we had Mexico, even Haiti, beautiful artists from Haiti that displayed their art. In addition to that, you can find some of the cultural element inside the World Expo, because one of the room is going to be 240 exhibitors from all over the world, and local exhibitors, and a lot of them, I know we work together, you and I, you're our country chair for Haiti, and we're bringing a nice delegation from Haiti. They displayed their artisan products, which is, for us, it's beautiful. It's definitely like art. So a lot of the countries, not only in the Caribbean, Latin America, and all over the world. One year we even had Malaysia, who brought their own art. It was very interesting to learn about the art. So that's the art component. We also have performance component, and I have some news, but it's not official yet. I've reached out to the artist called Freedom, and he's going to be in town, so he said he's going to try to come to our event. So we're very excited, and we had in the past some artists from Haiti, thanks to you, that came to perform, and we hope this year to have showcase the Asian culture. But also we're going to have fashion shows, different types of performances. We always try to add new things. So that's the cultural and fun part. And the business side, we're having 60 countries come there. So before I jump into the business side, you wanted to add something?
Yes, before you jump on the business side, I was appointed by Mayor, by Commissioner Del Holness on cultural division, so I'm aware of all the call to artists, and that's really exciting for us to have part of the cultural component to be part of FITCE, because we realize, and many people are not realizing, that arts in Fort Lauderdale, especially in Broward County, means business. And this is something that we take very seriously. Yesterday, I was at a council meeting, and we spoke about it, inviting people to come. So like you said, not only you take the local artists, we had the opportunity to have Olivier Duret once perform for us. And I think that same year, we had a group of people from Colombia performed a dance. And there was a year where we had the people from Martinique or Guadeloupe do a fashion show. That's when Olivier sings, because that's what he does a lot, sing at weddings and fashion shows. So we're very excited to see that people understand that the culture is part of the business, and it's not only business as usual, the doctors, the artisan, the artists, and the professionals, but it's also the artists that we value and make sure that they have an understanding of how they could grow and bring revenue, because at the end of the day, it's about bringing more revenues in Broward County so we could have a better life.
Yeah, and if I can add that to the discussion, because I believe we have a panel called the Orange Economy, and I believe that art brings economic development. So we're going to have a concurrent panel organized by the Cultural Division. It's going to be very interesting, along with what you're saying. And also, in addition to art, we're also bringing a lot of sports this year. We have the Florida Panthers, Miami Heat, Inter Miami, the soccer, and the cricket, who are going to have booths or have raffle item as part of the event. So as you're right, beyond just the business, culture is so important, art is important, and I'm including in there the world of sports because I think it's all interrelated. That's how we get to know about a culture. A lot of countries, the main sport is soccer or cricket, so you relate with the people from the country, and then that's how more business grows. So yeah, so I definitely agree with you, and I'm excited that we're having these elements as part of the show. In terms of the fashion, we have Sustainable Fashion Tech Week, which is about sustainability, who's going to be organizing the fashion show elements, and they're also going to have some panels about sustainability in fashion, because textile apparently is the second most polluting agent in the world. So they're going to talk about how to grow the fashion industry with taking in consideration sustainability, not only for the environment, but also, like, for example, in Ecuador, how they make the hats to create jobs for people in Ecuador and different countries through the fashion.
And I also wanted to give a shout out to Mayor Geller, who's bringing down to Florida the film commission. So this is something that is very important to us to make people understand. And I will also ask you the question at the end: why would people attend FITCE? Because it's about growth.
Exactly. I agree. And we're getting the film commission in our office, so there's going to be some big announcements soon in regards to that.
Yes, indeed. So now, Paola, we're going to talk business. So you were saying
67
countries.
60 countries will be participating at FITCE, and we're very excited. We're going to have 7 former presidents from Latin America that are going to be participating as well. The countries are Uruguay, Costa Rica, Panama, Bolivia, and Guatemala. And so we're just very excited to bring the business elements. We're going to have different panels on how to import, how to export, international buyers, local buyers, doing business with different continents, the Caribbean. So that's the business element. Also, there's going to be a World Expo with about 240 exhibitors, and people can go there, and they can also do business with the businesses and network. So the business element is very strong, and we're excited to have all these businesses participate, but also governments. There's going to be governments from different countries. I mentioned the former presidents, but some countries are bringing their ministers, like Belize is bringing the Minister of Blue Economy and Aviation and Minister of Sports, and Nigeria, flying all the way from Nigeria, we have the Minister of Labor. So, so we also have some government working along hand in hand with the private sector in order to open doors for business opportunities in over 60 countries. So that's what it's all about.
Now, while we're talking about the 60 countries, I know that sometime during that the session, there's one country that we feature, and I think one time it was the Great Britain, and I'm hoping this year it's gonna be India. Is it?
Yeah, is it?
Well, we have the panels for the continent, and there's different countries featured. But every year, we feature for the closing ceremony a country, and we featured in the past like Brazil and Colombia. This year, we're featuring Ecuador as the closing ceremony. So we're gonna see. I'm working on seeing if we can get some roses from Ecuador, some special things from Ecuador, chocolate, things like that to promote at the closing ceremony, and also some cultural component and part of the fashion shows. I was mentioning before the hats from Ecuador, which are made and sewn by hand. So every year we try to highlight a country at the conference for the closing ceremony. But every countries are also showcased in their specific country panels, continent panels. And so, if you go to the Caribbean, you're going to see probably 5 or 6 countries that are featured. And the UK, you probably saw them on the Europe panel. But also, the last day, there's a speed matchmaking with the countries, like speed dating with the countries. And we're going to have about 15 tables, and people can go from country to country and meet one-on-one with the country representative.
Now, Paola, I'm not sure, and correct me if I'm wrong. When you mention Ecuador and you mention flowers, is it because this country brings the most flowers in the United States? Because I think one of the Caribbean country brings a lot of flowers. There's a
I think we're one of the main importers through the flowers, of fresh cut flowers. They come through the airport. They're flown by air cargo through the Miami airport. And Miami airport is very strong for importing fresh cut flowers from Colombia, from Ecuador, and there's other countries that are strong for flowers. So especially as you can imagine, Mother's Day or Easter, or special occasions, Valentine's Day. I remember talking to Emirates Airlines, and they say they're flying in the roses from Colombia through Fort Lauderdale, and then they're flying them through Dubai. So we are a big hub, whether it be the Miami airport or sometimes it even flies through the Fort Lauderdale airport for fresh cut flowers.
That is awesome. And when we spoke earlier, we mentioned that there's going to be different sessions, and people need to understand that it is not too late to register as an attendee. Now, we've been doing this for a couple of years now, so people should know that FITCE is always coming. Well, unless COVID comes back strong, but FITCE is always going to be there. So when people need to register, if they want to be exhibitors, if they want to be speakers, this needs to be done a little early. But now I think they still have time to register, because it's always a good thing for them to register, because as they register, you keep their email address, and you're able to let them know and remind them when you have either one of those sessions done separately, or when FITCE is going to come, well, they have all this. And two of my favorite sessions are Meet World's Leader and Former Presidents, because I love history. And the other one is the Business with the World Global Speed Matchmaking. Oftentimes people are here not understanding that they are goods, but services as well can be imported or exported, however you want to look at it. And that's one of the reasons why I think people should always attend FITCE, because it's just not a bunch of exhibitors sitting here and showcasing their work or their products. It's really about making the connection, understanding the other people's cultures, and being able to grow.
Correct. So there's different sessions and panel. They're advertised on our website, and we're going to put a more detailed program, I believe, early next week with the speakers. But yes, definitely. The main activities that I recommend everybody to attend, they're all important, but as you say, there's some that stand out, is the grand opening reception, which is the first day, the November 17 at 8 a.m. If you come early, we are offering breakfast, and then we have the opening ceremony, which is amazing because it's the most attended. And I just confirmed just today, a very high level guest from Washington, D.C., the director of the Western Hemisphere for the economic development. So he's going to fly in from D.C. and give us some welcoming remarks to the international delegations. This shows the importance of our conference, because every year the federal government sees that we're bringing all these countries to the U.S. It's not just we're bringing them to Florida, we're bringing them to the USA. So they recognize that, and they decided, that we have to be there. So we have a grand opening ceremony where the mayor's gonna give welcoming remarks. Our elected officials, commissioners. You're gonna hear from the port, the airport, all the major economic engines, and then after that, another interesting activity is at 1 p.m. we have the panel that you mentioned, Meet the Former Presidents, which usually we have 3, and this year we have 7. So there's going to be a very interesting panel with a lot of speakers. And yes, they do talk about history because they're former presidents. Some were involved in the free trade agreements or implementing big policies for international trade. And we partner with the Global Peace Foundation. They're the one who brings these former presidents from Latin America. And as well, we have that another interesting activity, as you mentioned, is the speed matchmaking, which is November 18 at 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. And that's going to be definitely, you can go around the world in an hour to meet 15 countries. Like every 10 minutes you switch and you talk to a new country. Of course, you can meet some of them at their exhibitor table in the World Expo, but this is more like a one-on-one. If you want to ask them questions, sit down with the Bahamas or with Canada. This year I'm getting a delegation coming from Canada. The government of Ontario is coming. So you could sit down with Ontario and say, hey, what are the opportunities in Ontario? So it's a really great opportunity, the speed matchmaking. But yeah, also there's other activities, doing business with the world. During lunchtime, we encourage people to go network in the World Expo room. So plenty of good stuff. And then last but not least, of course, there's the receptions, which are going to be really, that's the time to really, break down and just network and get to know people. There's going to be fashion shows again and some special performances. So we look forward to having everybody there. And these are free. They're all part of the free. If they register, you mentioned about registering is important. If you go to our website, FITCExpo.com, you can register there. It's free to register, and that allows you to attend all the activities. You can also register on site, but it's important to register before because we're going to have some special announcements. We have raffle prizes. If you register before, you can be part of the raffle. You can win 2 nights at the Hard Rock Seminole Hotel, or you can win a premium package for Miami Heat, Florida Panthers, or Inter Miami. So we have some really fun raffle prizes. So we encourage everybody to register in advance at FITCExpo.com. That's FITC, the word expo.com.
Paola, when I was talking about the global speed matchmaking, oftentimes people do not understand the work that is put in doing an event like that. And I would tell them that if FITCE ends on the 19th, if she gets by chance a week vacation, she start working on the next FITCE the week afterwards. But when we do the speed matchmaking as a chamber, for example, the people that I'm bringing from the delegation of Haiti, if somebody in Africa wants to do business with Haiti, those people are somewhat vetted through the chamber, because you want to do business with people that you know, like, and trust. Because if I decided I'm gonna sell okra to Africa, I mean, I could just meet some people that are not legitimate to do business with me. So now when you have the government, the leaders, and even when you spoke about the elected officials, sometimes you meet elected officials that are coming from Tallahassee, people from Florida Enterprise. So everybody is there. So the connections are there to be made. And when you go to register, and I'm going to remind you, it's www.FITCE, FITCExpo. There's only one E. It's not FITCExpo.com. It allows you to choose which session you want to attend, because we still need to be COVID safe. Is that the word?
Paola?
Yeah, definitely. But it's more like to also keep track, because, who wants to attend different activities. We do that also for statistics reason. we try to see at the end of the event which activities were more popular, that people more registered signed up. But yeah, some activities, we're expecting enough space for everybody, and they're gonna be we're gonna give masks. Everybody's gonna get a FITCE mask and hand sanitizer. So we still aware that we're in COVID times, but a lot of events started again in the community, and these are the rules that we're following for that the county said for this event: wearing of the masks and having the hand sanitizer. But yeah, definitely keeping track of how many people attend each activity is a way for us to see if this activity, if we should bring it back, the next year as well. But in general terms, every activity has been well received. So our program is similar than 2019. People like these activities, so we're bringing it back.
Paola, I think you're as bad as I am. For the past 25 minutes, we've been talking to the folks, telling them how excited it is to be part of FITCE and what they need to expect, but we have not told them where it's going to be and when it's going to be. And it dawned on me that when you said it's a huge place, we could have as many people as we want. I'm like, well, we didn't even tell them where it's going to be.
Yes, it's at the Greater Fort Lauderdale Broward County Convention Center, and that's located in the city. Speakers from some people listening from different areas, but it's in Fort Lauderdale near Port Everglades. It's on 17th Street Causeway, and the address is 1950 Eisenhower Boulevard. And Eisenhower is the president who started Sister City, so it's just very nice that this year Sister City was very honored to host their conference on Eisenhower Boulevard. And so, yeah, this is where the event will take place. And we're moving to some bigger rooms in the halls in the first floor. So we're going to be in all B and all A primarily. All A is going to be the presentation room, and all B is going to be the World Expo room. And so there's going to be some concurrent activities as well in and around those halls. And it's November 17 and 18, the show dates. So we start as early as 8 a.m. on each day because we offer breakfast. It's part of the general admission. So come early. Breakfast is first come, first serve. And then we, have opening ceremonies on each day. And then we start with the panels, so there's some education panels like how to import, how to export. By the way, the how to import panel, we have on the panel the U.S. Customs, we have FDA and U.S. Consumer Protection. So we have some major regulatory agencies which are not easy to get at events. So it's a very interesting panel. And the 11 Steps to Exporting is the program, our signature program that I mentioned before that we won an award. We're also going to have a representative from Enterprise Florida, Department of Commerce, SBDC, the county, all the resources. Then the Doing Business with the World series, we have consulates, trade commissioners who are going to be speaking mainly, but sometimes we might have a minister of a country, like in the case of Belize or Nigeria, or we might have an ambassador. I know for Africa, we have 3 ambassadors coming, believe it or not, from Washington, D.C. So it's going to be very, very interesting this year. And this year we have a new delegation from Dubai, so we're very excited. Representatives from the Sheikh's office, so they're going to come and talk about the trip that we would like to have in March, end of March, in Dubai for another conference happening there. So a lot of new and exciting things this year, and you're going to see it's going to look different, pizza, this year because we're in a new room with new elements and fresh feel and look to pizza. Yeah, so we're excited. Yeah, so it should be really nice.
I'm happy to find out that the Heisenberg started Sister City. I totally forgot about it, though I was part of Sister City in Lauderdale. And there's a Sister City element this year. There's going to be a special session beside the Sustainable Fashion Tech Week. We will also have the Sister City International. Now, Paola, correct me if I'm wrong. This event, usually the estimated attendance is almost 2,000 for 2 days. And I'm sure this year is going to be more because people missed it last year. And it brings about 200 international representatives and about 1,000 U.S. companies who want to establish or expand their business in South Florida. So this is not just a Broward County, Fort Lauderdale event. We're bringing people from Miami coming in. I gotta tell you on a side joke that I always encourage people to come and bring their product to the Fort Lauderdale airport or the Port Everglades. Why do you have to go to Miami? It's so far. What if you have to bring it here? It's best to just do it in Fort Lauderdale. And people do not realize how easy it is to work. And as you say, the people from Custom, the people from the Port Everglades, I think they're one of your partners. They're gonna be there. So people in my community who do a lot of import export, they need to be in those events so they can understand how easy it is to bring your products in Fort Lauderdale through the port, the what do you call it? The port, the seaport, or the airport. And sometimes you get to meet attorneys as well.
Correct. So we always encourage, South Florida has three major ports, three major seaports, and three major airports. But us in Broward County, we're located in the middle of the South Florida region, between Miami-Dade County and between Palm Beach County, and our main port is called Port Everglades. So everybody asks, well, the people that are not from Florida, they're like, well, are you in the Everglades? No, we're not, but we're called Port Everglades. And we have the most connections to Central America. We're known more like a port for exporting to South Central America. Port of Miami is known more like as an import port from China and Asia. But if you want to bring your products to Caribbean, South Central America, Port Everglades is the port to be. And also we have a foreign trade zone number 25, which in 2011 was the most exporting foreign trade zone in the whole United States. And we also have the airport, Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport, which not only has the domestic flights, but a lot of international flights now. We keep on adding international flights, and we're a low-cost airport. So a lot of the best price flights are fly out of the airport. And our slogan is breeze in, breeze out, because it's so easy to get in and out of the airport. So yeah, definitely we appreciate that you're promoting, but definitely we are a gateway. It's not just about promoting because it makes sense geographically. We're a gateway to Latin America and the Caribbean and also other countries, but definitely we're a door of entry and exit for the United States. So that's where it makes sense.
And we have to also tell the people that the Fort Lauderdale International Airport has undergone a major expansion, and our president, Jean-Pierre Turgot, was part of that expansion. And now the Broward Greater Convention Center is they're going through an expansion as well, aren't they? Because I remember attending many conferences and workshops how people could join and be part of the people who need to be certified and be vendors for the county and work with the convention center. I'm gonna tell them also that the Port Everglades is the leading #1 port container by tonnage in Florida and the 18th busiest port in the whole United States, as well as the 3rd largest cruise port in the world. And the reason why I mentioned it is because when Paola was saying, they asked if Port Everglades is in the Everglades. No, it's really where you usually jump on a cruise boat and go away on vacation. Are they giving away any vacation cruise this year?
We're trying to get Royal Caribbean still as a participant and maybe have a raffle item, but we do have an exciting raffle item, which is 2 nights at the new Seminole Hard Rock and Casino, the Guitar Hotel. So it's exciting. So we have that as part of our raffle prizes. And in the past we had a raffle, I don't remember, but we had 2 tickets to Dubai with Emirates Airlines in the 2019. So we always try to have some interesting raffle prizes to engage the audience and give them an opportunity to win these exciting prizes. And we have a lot of sport prizes like Miami Heat package, Inter Miami, which is the soccer team, and Florida Pan.
Beside your personal touch, and when I say your personal touch, I know you're gonna say it's you and the team. One of the things that I think make this expo different, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the fact that the South Florida total trade with an expo of this envergure, of this grandeur, had brought in 2018 $107 billion in goods for source. That's what the state says. That's a lot of money. So we're
Yeah,
talking
it's a lot of money.
money.
Yeah, we're in a great here. It's really definitely a great hub. You know, for the East Coast, we and the West Coast, you have California, but here we're known as one of the major hubs on the East Coast for the U.S.
I would say that it takes a global village to make an impact such as this. Paola, I want to thank you so very much. And again, I got to pull my ears and say that one of the things that we forgot to tell the folks is, you mentioned it. You didn't say it like very loud. This expo is free.
Yes, it's free, and we want everybody to participate in the community. Do not miss it, because imagine you could travel 60 countries in 2 days. You don't have to take a plane. They're coming to us. So why miss this opportunity? And definitely you register ahead of time, because you're going to be part of all the great activities. And it's at FITCEexpo.com. Again, that's FITC, the word expo.com. And FITC is actually the first letters of the event. So F is for Florida, I for international, T for trade, C for cultural, and then expo.com. That's how you can remember the website. I know sometimes when we communicate this verbally, we want to find tricks for the audience to remember it. So FITCexpo.com, all the information is there, the program. Click the register button on top of the page. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see all the dignitaries coming. The former presidents are listed there, the Minister of Labor from Nigeria, etc. But click there on register soon, because we're gonna close the registration portal a few days before. We want to make sure we have your credentials for the event, and it's important to register, as you mentioned before. I think and definitely do not miss this event, because you're gonna regret it if you miss it.
I'll make sure I make them regret it, because I think it's a unique opportunity to engage not only with the key leaders, the expert on different field, whether it's not international trade, whether it's import and export, and understand also how your office, Paola, Commissioner Del Jones, for his vision of this event, are able to see or relate the importance of engaging or the investment, or when I say the investment, it could be foreign or local investment for business and culture. The handle for this event is hashtag FITCE 2021. And Paola, there was an app that you use not only at FITCE but also at the Broward Business and Beyond, where people could see each other, like know that this other person is there. I don't remember the name of the app, but remember that when you come, once you register to FITCE, you get your free breakfast on the first day. You get to meet world's leader, former president, past president, elected official, local or statewide, or in this case, somebody coming from Washington. All this for free. And then what I love that Paola said is that you get to visit so many countries, like 60 countries in like 2 days.
Exactly. But also, you mentioned a good point, the app, which I haven't talked about. This year, the app is not UVA, it's called Guidebook. And that's why it's another good reason to register, because if you register, we send you the link to download the app and to get the app going, because the app is another tool to network. You can see there all the attendees, the speakers, everything. So definitely, I recommend people to register ahead of time. So we're gonna send you access to the app, and you can download the app. And I know some people have been using the app even after the event for 1 year. They've been just like kind of continuing networking, and that person I met there and there, who was such and such. And so it's a great way to keep in touch. So I want to leave on this last note that, yes, it's about business. Yes, it's about culture, but it's about making friendships all over the world, because it's like a reunion every year when we make this conference, People see each other. Oh, our friends from the Congo are here, from Haiti, from everywhere, Canada. So it's like, because business, you have to make friendships and relationships. That's the key to international trade. So this is like kind of the underlying message is like, come there with no expectation, because never know who you're going to meet. One time I had somebody that came there and they're in the renewable energy industry, and then next thing you know, they're shipping juices to Bolivia. So you never know what new business you're going to get involved with, who you're going to meet, do some interesting partnerships around the world. So this is what this event is about, not just being serious business, but culture, and also making friends and contacts all over the world.
Thank you so much, Paola. I know you've been very busy. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. Considering FITCE to be the World Expo Marketplace and the best place for you to connect culturally as well as making good money. Paola, thank you so very much. And I'm going to say it one more time, the website for them to register, because it's really important for them to register, is www.fitcexpo.com. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much, Dejnan, and looking forward to seeing everybody at FITCE 2021. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.